with 3 fathers. What would it be like if you were afraid of your mother? That you literally, for the first 15 years of your life, were living in terror of being stabbed or harmed? This is the stories that we hear on a regular basis from the people that we get to work with, right here in beautiful America. I think we're disconnected. Many of us that are in my audience don't understand what the pain is and the agony is and the struggle is in the poverty-stricken communities that surround us. But God calls us to go where the problem is and bring a supernatural healing. I've been watching for the last 15, to 20 months as a miracle ministry is coming out of our own house. And it's called Furnishing Families, but I realize it's more than furniture. It's furnishing a place where families can come. It's furnishing fathers for the fatherless and mothers for the motherless. And the older women in the Bible teach the younger women, and the younger women actually are the parents of the future generation that shapes America. We've got all 3 generations on my team right now. In a moment, I'm going to be giving this seat up to Michaela. She is an intern with a unique anointing, working with my wife, living in our home with our daughter, Joy, and Annabelle and me. And her parents have been friends of ours for years. And it's beautiful to see the role that she's playing. And as I've been talking to her today about her work with Annabelle, I said, can you show me some pictures of the children, of the families, of the moms, of the houses that are being transformed? And she just took me on a quick tour with her social media gift. And I said, forget it. I want you to tell the story. And so when we come back in a moment, I want you guys to go ahead and have a conversation about the miracles that are happening and the misery that is right under our nose in America, because this is where Furnishing Families ought to be.
Hey, welcome back to a special edition of the Lance Wallnau Show. I am joined by the wonderful, always effervescent Annabelle Wallnau.
Hi.
And I also have a special guest on the show today, Michaela Hawley. And so we wanted to do something special today, ladies, and really talk about the different things that are happening in Furnishing Families of Texas, which is just this amazing ministry that Annabelle launched. You've heard Lance talk about it. And we want to talk about really the testimonies of transformation that is happening. You guys see firsthand almost every single day. Mm-hmm. And so, Annabelle, why don't we just start with you, and let's talk about like the biggest praise report right now that you have going on would be
provision. I would say that we have had a sudden influx of provision in 2022, and even the fact of the Marriott giving us 139 rooms of furniture is incredible. And they would have given it to us in Indianapolis, Indiana. They're giving it away, Westin Hotel. If we have any viewers that want to start the Furnishing Families of Indianapolis, we need it now, because they're a company that's out of Neptune, New Jersey. They're going around all the different hotels and doing upgrades. But you know what? Like, they found us on Google. So is that amazing?
Wow. That's amazing.
So I know there's a lot of personal things with humans, but even today, while I'm here, the team has been receiving furniture. My whole, we had like 8 or 9 guys and 3 trucks pulling all the furniture that they gave us.
And so you're saying, like, essentially the Marriott has given you beds and tables.
Well, it's sofa beds, not the actual queen beds, but the sofa beds each have a full mattress in them.
Wow.
And then a coffee table, end tables, dressers, TVs, and the standing lamps and the table lamps. And man, it is some really nice stuff. So all the art.
Yeah. So you're receiving all of this, and then you're putting it into how many homes?
Well, we've already given it all. Right now, we only had 6, and we only had 4 left in storage. And then today we got, I guess they said 14 more. The thing is, it changes. It was supposed to be last week. And then because of the supply chain, they have to give back the rooms to the hotel before they give us more. And so even though they were supposed to give us 36 rooms last Thursday, they had to stop because they couldn't give the hotel back. So it's like we're in time. I mean, then they change it to Monday on Friday night. So, I mean, we have to be fluid. And
these families that you're giving to, though, it's a really unique situation, which is what Michaela and I were talking about really before we got on. A lot of these, and especially when you started, you were really moving women out of cars, living with children, single moms, living with multiple children.
But I didn't move them out. I mean, I was partnering with the
Yes.
people that were moving them out.
That
I
were-
was just furnishing them.
Exactly. Then moving them from that into housing. And then you were providing all of these great furnishings, beds. Some of them had never had beds before in their entire life. I've heard you tell stories about when you walk in and there are like 5 little kids on the floor and like there's no couch, there's nothing. I mean, the poverty level we're talking about is that it's either live in your car or here's 4 walls and you can live here. But
And
that's
learn
not
how to sleep
furnished.
against the wall, and the kids put their shirt over their knees. And you see how comfortable they are. They're good at it.
Yeah.
They sleep like that.
Yeah. When we might sit here and have this conversation, or the viewers at home might be there listening, it's so different than how we live or what we perceive poverty is. So do you want to tell us a couple different stories about that you've seen?
I have had the honor and privilege to really get to know some of the younger girls. Not so much like the moms, but I've really connected with the younger girls. And they have told me and opened up to me about all of the things that they've really experienced growing up. So for example, it's very normal to come from a family with 3 baby daddies or more baby daddies who all have different baby mamas, you know, and a whole bunch of different kids from these different people. And it's just always chaotic. And you never know where your next meal is going to come from. You never know whose house you're going to be at. You never know where you're going to stay, honestly. And you never know who's going to be there and if you're going to be safe. And a lot of these girls don't even feel safe with their own dads or other stepdads or moms, boyfriends or whatever. It's just a whole like dynamic. It's so chaotic and it's really sad because this is normal to them. They don't understand that a husband and a wife should stay together for the rest of their life and really only have the kids that they have together, you know? And they don't understand that that's possible and that's a normal thing.
Wow.
And it's really scary for them. And it's just really interesting to see how that just trickles down generationally.
Yeah. Well, and so tell me, because outside of delivering, you know, furnishing homes and Furnishing Families of Texas, you guys are really furnishing them with a different way of living, a different version of what life can look like. It's new possibilities. And so I'd love to hear different stories of like really testimonies that you've seen. Maybe you could tell one from a younger perspective, and then maybe you could tell one from one of the women that you've been helping.
Yeah. So our family, my family, the Hawley family, we really connected with this one family in particular. I'm not going to name any names, but and they're just so amazing and so phenomenal. And they're actually one of the first people that Annabelle got to help with. I don't know, what did you give them originally? Just like everything, or
Well, furniture.
Okay, and like, did you give them beds and stuff like that?
Furniture and beds and bunk beds and food.
Yeah, it's really incredible what you were able to give them. And so they're one of the first families, one of the core families. And basically because of that connection, because she was able to give them bed, furniture, I was able to make a connection with them. And I really got to talk to them and hear what their hearts are and hear what they want to be when they grow up and just hear what their kind of vision is, even in their limited paradigm, what their vision is for their life. And it's a really beautiful thing because even when we're stuck in these situations like poverty, we still have the ability to see outside of that. But the big key to that is how much do you know and how much more can you see outside of it? And so one of the biggest testaments to just giving furniture to somebody is just the fact that we can provide them with connections and hope and vision for their future. And so, for example, this specific family, their oldest daughter, she is 18 now with a 1-year-old daughter, and she wasn't in school at all when I first met her a couple months ago. And I really got to talk to her and love on her and help her see outside of her paradigm. With my family, we flew them out to our house in Charlotte, you know, kind of showed them a good time and put a smile on their face, which was really fun. And now, a couple months later, she is in school full time. She has a part-time job whenever she's not in school. She's about to get an apartment for herself, and she's glowing. Along with her sisters, they're just all glowing. They never smiled before because they didn't have anything to smile about, which is really sad for a young girl, or anybody in particular. But yeah, so they're all glowing and so happy, and I'm just so proud of all the transformation that has come just from reaching out and giving furniture. It's incredible how much that can do.
I was just, because we were talking about this right before we came on, and I was thinking about, that's such a powerful concept, things that you talk about in terms of vision, of the vision that you have for your life. And when you talk about, growing up in, it's almost like a war zone where you're just trying to survive. The ability to dream or to think that there's an alternate reality outside of this war zone is you can't. I mean, you're just trying to survive day to day. And so it's like when you took in this, this girl that you were working with, you were talking about how that transition happened, how she went from just surviving to seeing, wait, there's an alternate possibility for my life. And we were saying, I think there's kind of almost a misconception with demographics like this, where you're like, oh, they're just lazy, they don't want to work. I mean, I've heard people say that. And when you're actually working with them day to day, and hear what Michaela was talking about, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are, is that there's really no alternative. There's no other way of living until you're exposed to it. And you were saying, maybe she really was exposed to this and then said, you know what, I want to change how I'm living. And you said she's in school now. And it's almost as a direct result as to having new vision cast.
Yes.
Yeah, and in her case, I know who you're talking about. She saw her iPhone and said, oh, I bet your parents bought you that. And she goes, oh no, I worked for this. And that was the moment I know. I saw the transaction and what happened in her eyes, that she decided, I'm going to get myself a job.
Wow.
I'm going to earn. Do you remember that moment?
Yes, and funny enough, I saw her like 2 months ago for the first time in a while. And she comes into my car with a new iPhone, and I was like, oh, who got you that? And she was like, I did. I pay for it myself. And I was like, okay, girl, you go. So it's just like crazy to see just the quick transition, just a couple months.
Yeah.
Just a couple months. And all it took was one vision outside of their paradigm.
Well, really, it was since July, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was August, September, October.
But by
November,
that time, it was like
no, but I mean, like,
September,
but I'm saying that is a lot to happen in 5 months.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, because again, Michaela and I were just chit-chatting off stage a second ago. There's almost a spiritual element as well that resists, I think, these families leaving poverty. Because I remember there was one girl that we helped give a car to, you helped give a car to, and then I feel like her tires were stolen the next day. It's like the minute they get this much help and assistance and growth, it's like something says, oh no, you're not leaving.
Exactly.
And then tries to steal and take.
Excellent. True. And we have to break with them the generational curses, but we do have mindfulness of saying, hey, wait a minute, it's a little too much right here. And even we have a friend, Selena, who just had another car accident. This is her third car accident. She's not even in the poverty story, but we have to break something off of her. Because each time is more against her body. But this is all within 2 months. That's crazy. So sometimes you hear a pattern and you just have to go towards it in prayer, spiritual warfare.
Absolutely. So what I love about what Furnishing Families does is, on the surface, it seems like we're furnishing. That's all we're doing. But really, it's so much more. I mean, you're furnishing hope and you're furnishing vision. I mean, it's powerful. So tell us some stories about the women that you work with.
Well, I'm going to just say Danielle's name, because Danielle is the one who got burnt down, and then she actually had flooded out. Wow. And so we didn't even know. I actually replaced all those beds. We replaced the beds, but I didn't know she never got another couch. I came over there to bring a heater last week because it was going to be that storm. And she said, we better can you get us a heater because our heat keeps going off. So my friend Helen gave us one for her, and I brought it, and I said, hey, wait a minute, what's that bed? Where's all the furniture in here? And she goes, her daughter said, well, they had to throw it out when we had the flood. And I said, we didn't give you a new set after that? She said, not yet. And I was like, oh, so sometimes we can't keep up.
Sure.
I didn't know, and Terry didn't know. We thought we sent a new set in there. Anyway, when she came to do the Book of Possibilities, which actually is, it's like a vision board in your journal, and you cut out pictures of these beautiful magazines, and you put down everything you hope and dream for. And she did it, and she was so shook up by that process because she said, I've been burned down, I've been flooded out, and I feel like today, after we were there 4 hours, I could dream again.
Wow.
And I was so moved by that myself, because I didn't even think about it. She goes, I would like to take home supplies for my children who couldn't come so they could dream again too.
Wow.
And you know what? You have to think about the dashed dreams. How many times can you, we built the ministry on the foundation of the scripture that hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is the tree of life. And the whole tree of life image of the root system. And then I was holding up this big, you know, if you do hydroponics with basil, the root systems are long.
Oh, sure.
So you just cut it off, because that's what the world is doing to families right now. Just cut off the root system, and the people are, it sort of stuns the plant, but it stuns the human too.
Yeah.
You need each other. And so sometimes we offer community they don't have.
Yeah.
You know, and in her case, she only had her dad, and when he died, she didn't have any family. And so she's the mom with 5 kids. And so, you know, one daughter's already off, but lives somewhere else. But I'm saying, so she has to be the strong one. But like she told me, I'm hoping I can get a car, because it's hard to get back and forth to work all the time. So our dream is to bring cars together for the people and to actually connect them with the provision of what they need to thrive.
Well, and you talk about that. Michaela mentioned it earlier too, that especially with this demographic, they don't have cars.
No.
So we think like, well, just go to work, just get there. And it's like, but they can't even get to a job because they don't even have a car to do that.
Well, and then there's some buses, then there's no buses, and then there's some Ubers, and there's no Ubers. Or you can get there, but you can't get home because you're after midnight. And it's complicated. And you know, I don't pretend to have ever lived in those kind of constraints. Like that is a lot against. You know, getting the job done.
Yeah, but what I love about the ministry, about what you guys are doing, is it really is, you know, when you think about Jesus, where it's like a sign and a wonder, and it opens you up in such a way that then you can receive the word, you could receive truth. And so it's like the miracle happens so that you can receive truth. And in a lot of ways, the furnishings, that's the miracle. That's what's being delivered. Here's the bed, in a day. You'll furnish a whole little apartment for 5 or 6 kids and a mom.
Oh yeah,
you know,
the kids dance.
Yeah.
You know, and in Danielle's case, she says, I want to come work at the warehouse because I want to be around the positivity. That's what she calls it. We're the positivity in her world. And we're affirming and we're loving and we care for her.
Yeah.
You know, and so she doesn't get that too many places. It's not easy for people. For another thing I want to say is a lot of those girls, they don't have friends that are bringing positivity, because a lot of their friends are also going through a hard time. And you know, we talk about the seasons of life, right? So our goal is to get, like somebody say, I'm going through hell. Well, don't stop. Get through it as fast as you can. Because God's got a plan on the other side.
Yeah, that's true. I was just telling my daughter Liberty that, where it's like, you know, that phrase where it's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Right. It's like who you're around heavily dictates what you're going to do next with your life. But I want to see, Michaela, you brought all these photos. So let's see some of these people. Let's see the smiling faces of the people that you've helped minister to.
Yes.
You and
Love
Annabelle.
to show them. Love to show them.
Are they rolling?
We'll see.
Okay, so these are just photos of people that we've been able to help and just put a smile on their face, because like I said before, it's just something that's so uncommon, which should be common for a kid. So
well, that first kid won that bike at that outreach, so he was pretty happy.
Yeah, he was really happy. That's one of my favorite pictures, actually.
And look at his face.
He's so
it was a little
cute.
big for him, but he didn't even care.
Yeah. And then, so these are, you can tell, isn't this Helen?
Yeah, that's Helen in the middle. She says that she and I are twins, and we do the same thing. And actually, we do the same thing. But she receives all new stuff from World Outreach, World Vision. And we get a lot of secondhand stuff, and we do buy beds new. But like, in other words, she gives away brand new couches. When we partnered with her at her outreach, she had like 300 or 400 cars in a row, you know, at the conference center downtown where she lives in Iverman. I think it's called Iverman. But anyway, the point is, she had lines up of people that were getting couches and furniture and food and toys. And the people were like on a game show. They were ecstatic. They were freaking out. It was just high energy. And I was just there loving it, because these are the some days, and these are the partnerships that we have with each other, you know.
Yeah.
She supplies us with so much cool stuff. And we brought our truck and we brought our guys, and we just sewed into what she was doing. It was our turn to sew into her that time. So good.
That's awesome.
It's really beautiful. And the other women in these are two of our wonderful volunteers, Terry Bird and Donna Biss. They are amazing. Donna Biss actually moved here from California just to be a part of Furnishing Families.
Wow.
Yeah, Kimmy over in England's like, Donna, move to Keller, Texas.
Yes.
Help Annabelle. And then Terry Bird is on staff now. She started out volunteering for 2 years, and then we got her hooked up with a house so she can live there instead of an hour away every day.
She has been giving other people, she's gotten other people hooked up with getting houses because of that. So it's just a blessing that keeps blessing other people. That's kind of how we roll. overflow. And so, I mean, these are just more, you know, happy faces, smiling moms, smiling kids. This is one of our truck drivers, Keith.
Yeah, it's Keith.
He's amazing.
Okay, great story about Keith. We met Keith when we were delivering over in that morning we had a prayer time because we knew that Andrew was going off to college and at Todd White's, well, not college, but supernatural school. We were losing a driver. So that morning before we left, we all prayed that God was going to bring us a new driver because we didn't want to not have a driver for the 26-foot truck.
Sure.
Because if you have to rent a 16-foot truck, you're in the wrong. We have to keep what we have and use it, right? But anyway, we prayed, and then that day they met Keith when they were delivering to the lady, and you know, Keith's like, "Hey, can I help you guys?" And Joel was like, "Well, we're all set, but can you drive a truck like that?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do. I drive tractor trailers." And we're like, so they gave me this number. I called him. He started working for us the next day.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
That's God, man.
Incredible.
That's what Lance is always shocked about, which when we have the supernatural answers to prayer, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Okay, so this is actually one of the rooms that we got to furnish from the Marriott furniture. So this was the before picture, and this is the after picture of the sofa bed and just some of the furniture things that we got from the Marriott. So we've gotten to furnish about how many houses from this
Well, already
donation?
over 75.
Over 75 houses, and this is just one of them. And, you know, the people are just so overwhelmed and just are so happy and ecstatic just to have a couch. And it's so incredible. And so going back to that other picture that was just up, that's Joel, who she was just talking about, carrying some boxes. We really do operate off of joy and goofiness, and it's just always a positive overflow of just positivity, you know, as Danielle said. So with these pictures, I really just want to showcase how we operate. And it's really out of the joy of the Lord and the love that he has shown us that we can give to other people. And it's just really incredible to be a part of. And it's honestly an honor to be able to, you know, put a smile on somebody's face through the joy of the Lord. And, you know, when we're talking about all these things that are like kind of like under our noses and maybe, you know, kind of like upper middle class America, like this is kind of all under our nose, and what's going on and the severity of the upbringing that these kids have. And when I'm hearing these stories, I can't help but think, Jesus is the only solution to all of this. It really is, because it's so twisted, so dark, so demonic. And I can't even pretend that I've been through anything like this. But when I hear these stories, it just like is gut wrenching. And it just makes me think, how do we bring Jesus to these people? And I really think that Annabelle has cracked the code to this, seriously, by
Cracked the code.
Yeah, literally by bringing Furnishing Families of Texas to these people, because it's not like Jesus, like right out the gate, but it's like, hey, Jesus loves me. And I know that. So I'm going to show how much Jesus loves you through this bed and through just a lifetime partnership and connection. So yeah, that's kind of the conclusion.
This is our
I've come
garden,
to.
guys. This is like within 30 minutes of our zip code.
Yeah.
So we can't go wrong.
Yeah,
We don't
really.
have to fly there. We can just drive there. We can go there a lot.
And I think that's what a lot of people miss, you know, and there's nothing negative to say about going to, let's say, Africa and doing a missions trip. But I think the reality is within 30 minutes of most major cities, this population, this demographic exists.
Yes.
And I love what Michaela said, that I do think you've downloaded some sort of divine strategy from the Lord of like, let me furnish you with the things that you need. And to us, it's like, this is, like you were saying, you know, upper middle class. It's like, that's like bare, you know, oh yeah, you're going to have a bed. You're going to have some sort of couch. We've all been there right around out of college, and you're like, you're furnishing everything from Goodwill. But what happens when you're at a certain level where you're like, you don't even have that?
Yeah.
You're living in a car and or you're 18 with a 1-year-old. You know, where's your support system?
Yeah.
Where's your kind of like village to help you raise? And
We
like
need
you're the village.
We need it.
I mean,
each
Furnishing
other.
Families is becoming the village in so many ways.
That's why we need the 7M city.
Yep.
That's why God's going to bring us to the place of having that 100 acres and building it. And it's not that far in the future.
Yeah.
And affordable housing is what we don't have, you know, in this whole area.
Yeah.
That's why Terry's partnering with our friend Gina. And Gina is involved with somebody who has a $800,000 grant that is providing the half price of the rent for the first year to so many people if they make under $24,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole demographic, but you do have to have a job.
Yeah.
You know, to be eligible.
Yeah.
But their hope is that you are going to be able to ramp up from there.
Yeah.
But a lot.
So Annabelle, what do you need? I mean, outside of, because I think a lot of times people think like, oh, I got a couch I can give. But it's like, yes to a couch. We'll take a couch or whatever you got. But what else do you really need? Is it volunteers? Is
Yes.
it...
We need volunteers, and we always get good volunteers from these shows. Oh my gosh, the quality of the volunteers is just like, wow, God, thank you. And then we also need a 16-foot truck because we own a 26.
Okay.
We will need a whole fleet, but we have to keep renting what we don't have.
Yeah.
And actually, Colin and Barbara saw Lance talking and asked me what I needed when I first said I needed a trailer, and they gave us an 8-foot trailer.
Wow.
So I have my faith out there that somebody of you has one you don't need of a 16-foot truck. But the truth is, like, we actually need a building, and we would like to put everything under one roof because right now we have 9,000 square feet that are represented by 5 warehouses, and we have 2 storage units. And that's 3 miles away. So that's not convenient, but that's what we have right now.
Yeah.
Because we had to have space to receive. Some people will say, like, why don't you go through all your stuff and get rid of some of it? But just 2020, we fully furnished 75 homes. And in 2021, we fully furnished 175 homes.
Wow.
That's separate than the people we just gave a bed to or gave a couch to. I mean, fully furnished to me means bedrooms and all the living areas.
Yeah.
You know, and so that is an enormous change for us. So you have to have choices. Everyone has a different sized house. It's not the same.
And honestly, too, just regular old partnership donations, financial donations, because there's a lot of times where you'll have headboards, but you don't have mattresses,
That's
you know?
true. That's
and we
true.
run into that a lot of times. And you've got some great partnerships lined up with local businesses that are donating mattresses.
Helping us.
But a lot of times I'll be at your house and I'll be, you know, working over there with Lance and you're on the phone trying to figure out how you're gonna get like 100 mattresses. You got to buy them, you know? So even just normal partnerships. And to do that, you can go to we can go to your website at this point, right?
FurnishingFamiliesOfTexas.com.
Yeah, FurnishingFamiliesOfTexas.com. And donate there. And
Become a
please-
monthly partner. See, monthly partners are the big deal for us because
Yes.
our giving is like this every week, and it's different. It's good. It's good. Some weeks it's really good. And the thing is, well, we trust God for all of it.
Absolutely.
It's just hard to build when it's 1 week 1,400, 1 week 700, 1 week 4,000, 1 week, you know.
Yeah.
$65. Well, not too many people gave that week, but
Yeah.
at least somebody did. But the point about it is that's still like a place of just staying in the zone. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Absolutely. And so if they want to get in contact with you to either volunteer or whoever has this 16-foot truck, even cars. We were talking earlier, we've had a number of cars donated to your ministry.
Yes.
And it really blesses these girls. They're able to, it opens up a whole new realm of possibility in terms of
Absolutely.
work and where they can go.
That's true.
And then the other thing too, I mean, we've got one lady that you've worked with for quite a while, and she's starting a whole ministry with the children in that area.
Yeah.
That she's actually getting the kids together on Sunday morning and bringing them to church.
That's right.
And so maybe these parents aren't going, but she's going to take all those 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and she's bringing them to church. So we need like a van for that.
Oh, that's true. We still need the van for that.
Yeah.
Right, because she brings 8 kids with her in the car. They only had enough seatbelts for 6. I was like, hold it right there. We got to have a seatbelt per person. She's like, everyone was in a seatbelt. I was like, you don't understand. They have to have their own seatbelt. So we took some in my car to take them home. But I mean, it's just important.
Totally.
Safety first.
Absolutely. So if they want to contact you about that, say, I have that to give, would that be
Support.
Michaela? Where would we
support
write?
we have a whole new way of doing things, right?
Yes. Yeah, so you can email support at FurnishingFamiliesOfTexas.com if you're interested in volunteering or you have a big material donation. But if you have any interest in donating or becoming a partner with us, please visit us at FurnishingFamiliesOfTexas.com and look at our website and you can become a partner. And if you're interested in keeping up with our story, you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Furnishing Families.
I love it. This is such a great
That's
broadcast.
thanks to you because you created all that. You and Lance Jr. and KK. I got a dream team. I don't have to do anything but be me, do my job. I'm the switchboard operator behind everything. Chung chung.
That's so great. And you do the emails too. You send great like email updates out. You can sign up for that too.
Yep. Definitely sign up for our newsletter.
It's good.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on the special edition of a Lance Wallnau show. It's just the ladies' version. So thank you so much, guys. Annabelle, thank you. Michaela,
Thank you. Thank you, Lance.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Well, you got to hear the stories about Furnishing Families of Texas. And you know, they're all authentic, 100% real stories of transformation. There's soil right now you could put the seed of God into, put your finances into, this particular soil, because it's Miracle Grow. When you put your money and your finances and your seed into this kind of ground, you are transforming lives. You're literally furnishing a pathway for the anointing to change their lives. And I believe what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. You want to sow today into furnishingfamiliesoftexas.com.